In this video, we're going to be using the Ariana and Evans. This is the shaving butter from their Skin Essentials line and the Feather DX Camisori style shavette. Stay tuned. Hey there folks, and welcome back for another video. I'm your host CDB. Thanks so much for joining me again this morning. I really appreciate it on this New Year's Eve. So as mentioned before, today we're going to be using the Ariana and Evans. This is their shaving butter, which is a vegan product for their Skin Essentials line. And these creams or soaps, whatever you want to call it, shaving butter is scented with all essential oils. If you get one that's scented, this particular one is a test scent that I'm testing for Peter. But they come in these elegant, in my view, jars, which are, I believe, 4 ounces. The price on these are under $5 an ounce if you're in the Shaving Shop Club, and you're not allowed to really say exactly how much things are if you're in the club, but it's under $5 an ounce, which on our cost chart right there is a fair price. And honestly, the scent on this one is nice. I will give Peter the feedback privately. Nice scent. I don't think these are meant to be scented perhaps as strongly as the regular Club or Ariana and Evans line of soaps, but very nice container here. And actually I whipped it up in a bowl, and it's looking good quality wise as well. Again, I believe this is vegan. I will put the ingredients for you right here. And again, we see some good ingredients in here. We have aloe, shea butter, cocoa butter, avocado oil, some pretty good stuff it looks like. Today we're going to use the Feather, this is the DX Shavette that my mother-in-law got me for Christmas, and I'm very, very grateful for that. It uses blades. If you've never seen Artist Club blades, here's the Feather Professional. We just call them regular Feather Pro blades, and they come in a mechanism like this. And you can, if you like, inject these blades into the razor like so. However, I like to take the blades out with my finger and drop them in. The reason being is whenever you're injecting any type of blade, if that blade gets crooked or something and the edge gets pressed against something when you're injecting, it will be dull. So always be careful when you're using injectors that blade is 100% straight in whatever you're injecting it to. And for me, when I finish with these razors, I disassemble this. I'll show you afterwards. It comes apart and I dry things out. So I don't leave these blades in these razors. That's just the way I do it. Of course, you can do it however you like. Standard 24 hours of growth today. And I apologize for the lighting in here. It's not as good as home. You can't see as well, but we're working with what we're working with. And again, Happy New Year's Eve to you kind folks. I appreciate you being here. Captain's Choice bowl today. Ariana and Evans brush. And this stuff made a really nice lather. I'm impressed. I think a lot of us are sort of tallow biased in some ways. We always have it in our head that, you know, tallow is always the greatest, and I prefer it, quite frankly. But I must say, when lathering this soap, it has that sort of Peter Charkellis trademark dense lather, even while being vegan. And so that's a heck of an accomplishment, I would say. So great job, Pete. As you can see there, very nice hydrated lather. It's quite creamy. Again, Pete's, the products that he makes soap-wise tend to make very dense, heavy lathers, and this is no exception, even though it's vegan, so that's awesome. Okay, let's get going today with our Feather DX here and try to remain on our toes in terms of technique. Try to keep our try to keep our angle. Was I gonna say try to keep our aloe shangle? I think that's what I was gonna say. But anyway, try to keep the angle shallow, and also try not to come in too steep. These things, or any type shavette or straight razor, one of the keys for me that I've found is just being careful when bringing blade to the face. That is, those are the times where I think, you know, I tend to have problems and I get careless from time to time. And so just be mindful of that. If you bring it to your face a little bit flatter and then rotate it out until it's at a good cutting angle, I think it's for the best. So those first few strokes, they're feeling very nice. The Feather Pro blades work very, very well for me, so no problems there. And this has some good heft to it because I believe it's made of stainless steel, the mechanism that holds the razor. And so it definitely has some good weight to it. It feels nice in the hand. The handle's pretty rubbery. These are not inexpensive razors. They're in the realm of, I think on Amazon they're usually somewhere around 170 to 200 bucks, so they're not inexpensive. But I'm sure they're, you know, the type of razor that will last a lifetime if you take care of it. So we'll try to do just that. Very nice shaver, doing a really nice job. The Feather blades work well for me, the Feather Professional. Actually, all three, Feather has Professional, they have Super, and they have Pro Guard. All the blades work well for me, all the Feather blades, and the Feather DE blade as well. So they all do a pretty good job for me, generally speaking. Using the Camisori style razor is a little bit different because it doesn't have those scales. So for me, the scales sort of give me some visual aid. It's not just having a handle, but that where the scales are pointing up, it sort of gives you a visual cue about your angle and so on. I think it's helpful. And I think the Camisori style, a little bit more difficult to use. And I know that's counterintuitive to some, because some people say, well, if you got that the scales flapping around on a straight razor, don't they get in the way? Isn't that much more difficult to deal with? And my feeling on that is no. But on the same token, it could be just what you're used to, you know. So if you grow accustomed to using a straight razor and then you go to something like a Camisori, it's a different experience. It doesn't feel the same. So on that downward pass, no problems there. Let's rehydrate the face. The soap was very nice for that first pass. No problem at all. Again, this is a test scent, so I will give the feedback to Peter, but on a quality basis, that was very nice. This is a heck of a vegan product, I gotta say. The density of the lather is quite remarkable. And honestly, I don't expect anything less from Pete. You know, he does make great products, and the Skin Essentials line, I'm assuming, will not be quite as stoutly scented as the others. So maybe if you're one of those folks that has sensitive skin and fragrance oils bother you, this might be a line you want to check out. If you've been put off by the, you know, the regular lines, maybe they're a little too strong for you. That can happen. This one might be what the doctor ordered. Quality-wise, no problems whatsoever. And so I am happy with that first pass. I'm happy with the lather that's created. It doesn't burst into lather immediately. You have to work it some. But once you add that water, it becomes quite nice. So I'm happy with the performance for sure. But that is just me and one person's opinion. And one thing I can tell you is, you'd be surprised how different this feels, this Camisori, to using a regular straight razor type of scales. It just feels so different. I'm sort of shocked by how different it feels. And I have used this before, probably 5 years ago. I had one, and I put it on my Christmas wish list this year. I'm like, okay, now that we've learned to use them, you know, let's try to go back to it. And I don't have any Camisori style straight razors or Shavettes, so I figured, you know, let's get one and sort of learn to use it. And of course, I won't promise that I'll use it perfectly, because I'm still in the learning process. Honestly, I've probably done maybe this year, maybe around 150 or 160 straight razor / shavette type shaves. So I've done quite a few, but I consider myself still to be in the learning process. And I think I will remain there for probably the next year or so, you know. It takes time to learn. It's not something that you learn overnight. And for me, I enjoy the learning process. So it has not been a chore. You do have to slow yourself down. I'm certainly not going as fast with this as I might go with the DE. So I expect this video will go a little bit longer. The number one thing, again, is making sure that we don't come in too hot and too steep with this razor. That is the key from my perspective. If you do that, you're mostly good. And obviously not making a horizontal motion when the blade is oriented this way would be another key, but that should be pretty obvious. But so far, not bad. And the soap is doing exactly what I expected it to do, which is provide that area of slickness and glide for this blade. It feels pretty good. No complaints, Pete. I think some people just, honestly, they have it in their head that vegan products, you know, aren't as good or can't be as good. And this might be one of these that changes people's mind. You know, there are some great vegan products out there, PKA being one, Katie's Bubbles. I mean, there's plenty of great vegan, or at least vegetable-based soaps that work quite well. So I think a lot of us just have some personal, you know, biases. We always associate tallow with a very creamy, dense lather. And I do myself, honestly. But when I use something like this, and this lather is quite dense, it kind of proves that, you know, if you have the right ingredients in a vegan offering, you can get a nice, dense, heavy lather, which some people, that's really important to them. So Sharp David is one of those people that really appreciates some density in lather. And this one will bring that, I do believe, or at least it did for me. So I don't know how you lather, but the way I lather is just to, you know, press the soap into the bowl here. And then I'll add water slowly and just continue to work it. And it made for a very nice, creamy, heavy lather, not foamy. So honestly, though, you can shave with just about any kind of lather so long as it's slick. I'm particularly tongue twisted today. Sorry about that. Again, wishing you all a Happy New Year. I think many of us are hoping that 2020 comes to a merciful close and we sort of don't get any more bad news, you know, because we certainly got a lot of, personally, I got a lot of bad news this year with family health and just weird stuff happening. And I know many other families went through far worse than I did. So I try to remain grateful. But I'm looking forward to a new year and a new start and hopefully some better health news for family members. And again, when I use this razor, of course, I'll always be reminded of my mother-in-law who got it for me. And she's going through, as I mentioned before, latter stage cancer. And so it's been a tough year. But we remain hopeful always. So all you can do is just remain hopeful. And we'll go into 2021 with a lot of hope. Or at least that's what I'm going to try to do. All right, let's go across here and finish this baby off. It was a nice shave. I will confess, the using the Camisori style, a little bit different. It's more different than I recall, but really no problems, no problems. Let's come across here and get this last little part here, and then we'll close it out and get into the post. I want to thank everybody for joining today. Looks like I got a little weeper right there, but no big deal. I didn't feel anything there, so just must have been a bump scalping, or who knows. You never know when you use these kind of razors what you might get. If there are bumps, they will be scalped if you don't work around them. Personally, I don't work around them. I just work right over them. You know, I just go willingly. I'm like, hey, you were there, you're not there now. That's sort of the way I do it. Doesn't mean you should, by the way. Very nice. Very nice indeed. All right, and we shall leave it right there. Let me rinse. We'll come back into the post. Stay tuned. All right, and we're back with the Magic Made by Witches. This is Thayer's Witch Hazel. And off cam today, we use the Razor Rock alum, which you see right here. It comes in a dome like this. Great for travel. I have owned this one for many, many years. So it's quite a bit smaller than when I first used it. Not in bad shape today. I must say the Skin Essentials shaving butter treated me very nice. It made a surprisingly good lather, so I think Pete is onto something with this particular soap. And again, I'll give the scent feedback private, but I do like where you're going with the scent, Pete. I like where you're going with it, but we'll talk about the particulars of it later. We use the Feather DX Shavette. We had a nice go with it. We did have a little weeper there, so not perfect, but again, very inexperienced with this. I probably used one of these maybe 3-4 times ever, and so not bad. It will require some getting used to. I'm used to those scales on a straight razor or Shavette, so this will feel different, or at least it does to me. A little bit more difficult to use, I think mostly due to my lack of familiarity with it. We're going to throw on today for the splash Spartacus, A&E Spartacus, which is that Creativentus type scent, if you're familiar, sort of pineapple, maybe some apple. I can't even remember what all is in Creativentus, but it's a terrific scent, beloved by many, probably maybe the most popular men's fragrance in the world, or at least one of, over the last, I don't know, close to 10 years-ish, somewhere thereabouts. A&E Spartacus. Really nice splashes at A&E. The quality of the A&E products are just fantastic, and so I don't have any complaints on a quality basis from A&E ever, and I really enjoyed this, Pete. Really good lather, so thank you. And last but not least, we used our Ariana and Evans synthetic, which I just love, and my Captain's Choice bowl. Really creamy lather. I'm surprised, Pete, so you did a great job with it. All right, everybody, I hope you have a safe and happy New Year. We'll see you here tomorrow in the new year, if I can speak properly, that is. Thanks so much for watching. I've been your host, CDB, reminding you, it's your shave, do it your way, and as always, God bless.